The rain hits the gravestone before she even hears it coming. Cold, sharp, like the sky itself wants to punish her for being here. She drops to her knees in front of the name carved into granite. MRS, David's, and the sobs come harder than they should for someone who's supposed to be a stranger. Her black dress clings to her skin, soaked through, but she doesn't move. Can't move. The flowers in her hand, white lilies, tremble as she presses them against the wet stone. "I'm sorry," she whispers. "I'm so sorry I never came back." The cemetery is empty. No one visits graves in weather like this. No one except her. Except she's wrong. Footsteps crunch behind her. Slow, deliberate, expensive shoes against gravel. She freezes. "Who are you?" The voice cuts through the rain like a blade. Deep, controlled, dangerous. She turns, and her breath catches. A man stands 10 feet away, black umbrella tilting slightly over his shoulder. Tall, Korean, mid-30s maybe. His cream-colored suit shouldn't work in a cemetery, but somehow it does. Tailored perfectly, open black shirt underneath, showing the edge of ink crawling up his chest. Tattoos, not the kind you get for fun. His eyes are colder than the rain. "I asked you a question," he says, stepping closer. "Who are you, and why are you crying at my mother's grave?" Her mouth opens, closes. Nothing comes out. "Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is." He doesn't wait for her to answer. He moves closer, close enough that she can see the way his jaw tightens, the way his hand flexes like he's used to holding something heavier than an umbrella. Her voice cracks. "I didn't know anyone else would come." That's not an answer. She looks back at the gravestone, her fingers still pressed against the lilies. "I just wanted to say thank you." His expression doesn't change, but something flickers behind his eyes. "Thank you for what?" "For saving me." The words come out quieter now, almost lost in the rain. "I'm alive because of her." Silence. He stares at her like she just spoke a language he hasn't heard in years. Then his phone buzzes. He doesn't look at it, doesn't move, just keeps his eyes locked on her face, searching for something. Truth, maybe, or lies. "What's your name?" he finally asks. "Amira." She swallows hard. "Amida Jo." The name hangs in the air between them. He tilts his head slightly, rain dripping off the edge of his umbrella. "You know who I am?" She shakes her head. "Good." He steps back, lowering the umbrella just enough that the rain starts to hit his shoulders. "Stay away from this grave. Stay away from my mother. And stay away from me." He turns to leave. "Wait." He stops but doesn't turn around. "She talked about you," Amira says, her voice stronger now. "She never said your name, but I knew. She said her son was lost, that she couldn't save him." His shoulders tense. "She said some people are born into darkness," Amira continues, "and some people choose it, but she never told me which one you were." He turns his head just enough for her to see his profile. Maybe she didn't know. Then he's gone, disappearing into the rain like a ghost. Amira stays kneeling in front of the grave, her heart pounding so hard she can feel it in her throat. She doesn't know who he is, but she knows one thing for sure. Mrs. Davids didn't just save her life. She saved her from him. Do you think she should have told him the truth right there? Or was she smart to stay quiet? Drop a comment and let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want. The rain doesn't stop. Han Dae-hyun sits alone in his penthouse, 40 floors above Seoul, staring at the city lights bleeding through the glass. The rain streaks down the window like veins. He hasn't moved in an hour. His phone buzzes again. He ignores it. "Amida Jo." The name loops in his head over and over like a song he can't turn off. He didn't expect anyone at that grave. His mother had been dead 5 years, buried far from Korea, far from the blood and the business and the empire he built on bones. She left him when he was 17, ran to America, cut every tie, started over. He never asked why. Now he knows he should have. His lieutenant, Jean Tak, knocks twice before entering. Doesn't wait for permission. Never does. "You want the report or not?" Jean asks, tossing a manila folder onto the glass table. Dae-hyun doesn't look at it. "Tell me." Jean leans against the wall, arms crossed. "Amida Jo, 26, born in Seoul, raised in foster care. Worked 3 jobs her whole life. Waitress, tutor, weekend shifts at a bookstore. Got fired 2 weeks ago from some high-end restaurant in Gangnam. Boss accused her of stealing tips. She said he was the one stealing wages. No one believed her. Criminal record? Clean. Not even a parking ticket. Dae-hyun's jaw tightens. Family? None. Parents died when she was 16. House fire. No siblings. No relatives who claimed her. The words hang heavy in the air. Dae-hyun finally picks up a folder, flipping it open. There's a photo. Amira, younger, maybe 20, standing outside a community center. She's smiling, but it's the kind of smile people wear when they've forgotten what happy feels like. Where is she now? He asks. Rented studio in Itaewon. Barely affords it. Works part-time at a convenience store now. Dae-hyun closes the folder. And my mother? Jean hesitates. You sure you want to go there? Tell me. Your mother volunteered at that same community center. Taught English to immigrants and foster kids. That's where she met Amira. Dae-hyun's chest tightens. His mother always believed in second chances. Believed people could be saved. She just never believed she could save him. Anything else? Dae-hyun asks, his voice flat. Jean pulls out his phone, scrolling. Yeah, one more thing. Amira's been visiting that grave every year on the same date. The anniversary of your mother's death. Dae-hyun stands, walking to the window. The rain hasn't let up. It never does when it matters. Bring her here, he says quietly. Jean raises an eyebrow. You sure that's smart? I didn't ask if it was smart. Jean nods, slipping his phone back into his pocket. When? Tonight. Jean leaves without another word. Dae-hyun stays at the window, his reflection staring back at him. Sharp suit, cold eyes, a man built to survive, not to feel. But something about the way Amira looked at that grave, the way her voice broke when she said thank you, it reminded him of something he thought he'd buried a long time ago. What do you think he's going to ask her when she gets there? Comment below if you think he's dangerous, or if maybe, just maybe, he's something else. Amira doesn't scream when they come for her. She's walking home from her shift at the convenience store, hood pulled up against the rain, earbuds in, when the black car pulls up beside her. 2 men step out. She doesn't run. She's too tired to run. Amira Cho, one of them asks. Polite, almost gentle. She nods slowly, pulling out her earbuds. Someone wants to talk to you. Ooh. The man doesn't answer. Just opens the car door. She could say no, could turn around, walk away, pretend this isn't happening. But something in her gut tells her this was always going to happen. She gets in the car. 20 minutes later, she's standing in a penthouse that costs more than she'll make in 10 lifetimes. Floor-to-ceiling windows, rain hammering the glass, the whole city spread out below like a kingdom. And in the center of it all, him, Dae-hyun stands with his back to her, hands in his pockets, staring out at the storm. Sit, he says without turning around. She doesn't. He turns his head slightly, just enough to see her in his peripheral vision. I said sit. I'd rather stand. A pause, then something almost like a smile. Stubborn. Careful. She shoots back, her voice steadier than she feels. He finally turns all the way around, and the full weight of his attention lands on her like a spotlight. Up close, he's even more intimidating, tall, broad-shouldered, the kind of man who doesn't have to raise his voice to make people listen. His tattoos crawl up from his collar, disappearing under his shirt. She catches glimpses of symbols she doesn't recognize. Dragons, maybe, or something darker. Why were you at that grave? He asks. I told you. Tell me again. She takes a breath. Your mother was my mentor. I didn't even know she had a son. His eyes narrow. How did you find her? I didn't find her. She found me. Explain. Amira shifts her weight, crossing her arms. I was 16, homeless, sleeping in subway stations, stealing food when I could. One night, she saw me outside the community center. She didn't call the cops, didn't look at me like I was trash. She just asked if I was hungry. Dae-hyun's expression doesn't change, but something flickers behind his eyes. She helped me, Amira continues. Got me into a foster program, paid for my books, made sure I finished school. She said everyone deserves a chance to rewrite their story. The words hit harder than she expected. Dae-hyun turns back to the window, his jaw tight. She always believed that. Even when you didn't. He doesn't answer. The rain fills the silence between them, relentless and cold. Why didn't she ever mention you? Amira asks quietly. Because I'm not the kind of son you talk about. She talked about you, Amira says. Just never by name. He turns sharply. What did she say? That you were lost. That she couldn't save you. That some people are born into darkness. And some people choose it. And she never figured out which one you were. His hands clench into fists. For a moment, she thinks he might shatter the glass. But he doesn't move. You should go, he finally says, his voice low. Why did you bring me here? To see if you were lying. And he looks at her, really looks at her. And for the first time, she sees something other than ice in his eyes. I don't know yet. She turns to leave, but his voice stops her. Amira. She glances back. Stay away from that grave. People like me, we don't get to mourn. We don't get to be forgiven. She meets his gaze, and her voice comes out softer than she means it to. Maybe that's why she left you. Because you never gave her the chance. Then she walks out, leaving him alone in the rain-soaked silence. Do you think she was too harsh? Or did he need to hear that? Let us know in the comments, and hit subscribe to see what happens when the past refuses to stay buried. 2 nights later, the message comes through encrypted channels. Dae-hyun is in his office when Jin Tak bursts in, tablet in hand, face tight with urgency. We got a problem. Dae-hyun doesn't look up from the contract he's reviewing. What kind? The kind that involves your mother. Now he looks up. Jin swipes the screen, pulling up a dark web auction site. The listing is simple, clinical, terrifying in its brevity. Private letters. Mrs. David's, addressed to A. Cho, starting bid, $50,000. Dae-hyun's blood goes cold. When did this go live? He asks, his voice dangerously quiet. 3 hours ago. Already got 12 bids. Dae-hyun stands, circling the desk. Who's selling? Trace the IP to a proxy server in Manhattan. But the seller's identity is locked behind 3 layers of encryption. Jin hesitates. But the name attached to the auction house? Honon Valley. The name lands like a bullet. Honon Valley. Art dealer. Information broker. A man who trades in secrets the way most people trade in stocks. And now he has his mother's letters. How did he get them? Dae-hyun's voice is ice. Jin shakes his head. Don't know yet. But if those letters go public, they won't. Dae-hyun pulls out his phone, scrolling through contacts until he finds the one he needs. He doesn't bother with pleasantries. I need everything on Ronan Vale. Financial records, shell companies, real estate holdings, every transaction in the last 10 years. And I need it in 6 hours. He hangs up before the person on the other end can respond. Jin watches him carefully. You think the girl's involved? No. The answer comes too fast. Jin raises an eyebrow. You sure? Dae-hyun turns back to the screen, staring at the auction listing. The letters are described as personal correspondence between philanthropist Mrs. Davids and foster mentee A. Cho, containing sensitive financial and emotional details. She didn't know about this, Dae-hyun says. If she did, she wouldn't have been crying at that grave. Or maybe that's exactly what she wanted you to think. Dae-hyun's jaw tightens. Find out who had access to my mother's belongings after she died. Storage units, lawyers, estate handlers. Someone sold those letters. I want to know who. Jin nods, already typing. And Jin, yeah. If Ronan Vale has those letters, he knows more than he should. Which means he's either stupid or connected. Dae-hyun's eyes go dark. Find out which. 3 hours later, the first files come through. Dae-hyun spreads them across his desk. Financial records, property deeds, encrypted emails. Ronan Vale's empire is built on shadows, but shadows leave traces. And then he sees it. Buried in a subsidiary of a subsidiary, hidden under corporate shells and fake nonprofits, is a name he recognizes. The Davids Foundation, his mother's charity. The one she started in America to help foster kids and immigrants. The one that was supposed to be clean. Except it's not. The records show millions moving through the foundation. Far more than donations could account for. Money flowing in from offshore accounts, laundered through art sales, real estate flips, anonymous donors who don't exist. His mother's charity was being used to wash blood money. And she never knew. Or worse, maybe she did. Dae-hyun's hands shake as he flips through the files, his mind racing. If Ronan Vale has access to these records, he has leverage. Not just over Amira. Over him. Over everything. His phone buzzes. A message from Jean. We found something else. You need to see this. Attached is a scanned image. A letter. Handwritten. His mother's handwriting. Dearest Amira, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you everything while I was alive. The truth is complicated, and I was a coward. There's money in your name. A trust fund. I set it up years ago, hidden from everyone, including my son. It's yours. Use it to build the life I always knew you could have. But be careful. There are people who will come looking for it. People who think they're owed something. Trust no one. Not even him. Dae-hyun stares at the words until they blur. Trust no one. Not even him. What do you think the letters really say? Comment your theories below and subscribe to find out if Amira knew about the money all along. The next morning, Dae-hyun sends for her again. This time, Amira comes willingly. She walks into the penthouse like she owns it, head high, shoulders back, even though her hands are shaking. Dae-hyun is standing by the window again. Same spot, same storm. You didn't tell me about the money, he says without turning around. Her stomach drops. What money? Don't play dumb. I'm not. He turns, holding up the scam letter. My mother set up a trust fund in your name. Millions of dollars. Hidden in offshore accounts, laundered through her foundation. Amira's face goes pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? His voice is sharp now, cutting. Because these letters say otherwise. I never saw those letters. Her voice cracks. I swear, I didn't know she left me anything. He steps closer, the letter still in his hand. Then why were you crying at her grave? Guilt? Fear? Because you knew someone would come looking? No. Tears sting her eyes, but she doesn't let them fall. I was crying because she was the only person who ever gave a damn about me, and I never got to say goodbye. Silence. Dae-hyun stares at her, searching her face for cracks, for lies, for anything that proves she's playing him. But all he sees is grief. Raw, real, unfiltered. He lowers the letter slowly. You really didn't know? No. Her voice is barely a whisper. I didn't. He turns away, running a hand through his hair. Then someone's setting you up. Or me. Or both of us. Why would anyone do that? Because my mother's foundation was being used to launder money. And if those letters go public, it won't just destroy her legacy. It'll expose everyone connected to it. He looks at her, including you. Amira sinks into the nearest chair, her legs suddenly too weak to hold her. She said she owed my mother a promise, she whispers. Dae-hyun freezes. What? When she found me, when she took me in, she said she owed my mother a promise. I never understood what she meant. His heart pounds. Who was your mother? Amira looks up, and the pain in her eyes is unbearable. Her name was Keisha Cho. She was a translator, worked for international businesses, helped broker deals between Korean and American companies. Dae-hyun's chest tightens. When did she die? 15 years ago. Amira's voice shakes. She was caught in a shooting. Wrong place, wrong time. The police said it was gang violence. Seoul Tokyo Syndicate. The words hit him like a freight train. Seoul Tokyo Syndicate. His syndicate. His first major job. The one that made his name. The one that left 12 people dead. He remembers that night. The warehouse. The screams. The way the bodies fell. He remembers thinking it was necessary. Collateral damage. He never thought about their names. Their families. Their daughters. Amira. Don't. She stands, wiping her eyes. Don't tell me you're sorry. Don't tell me it wasn't personal. Because it was. It was her life. I didn't know. That's the problem. Her voice cracks wide open. You never knew. None of you ever know. You just pull the trigger and walk away. She turns toward the door, but he grabs her arm. Not hard, but firm enough to stop her. Let go of me. Not until you listen. There's nothing you can say. My mother knew. His voice is raw now, unsteady. She knew what I did. That's why she left. That's why she found you. Amira stares at him, her breath coming in short gasps. She was trying to save you. He continues, his grip loosening. From me, from everything I built. She gave you that money because she couldn't give your mother her life back. Tears spilled down Amira's cheeks. Then why didn't she just tell me? Because she was protecting you. From me, from the people I work with, from the world she knew would come for you the second they found out. Amira pulls her arm free, backing toward the door. I don't want the money, she says, her voice breaking. I don't want anything from her, or from you. It's too late for that. She stops, hand on the doorknob. They're already coming for you, Dae-hyun says quietly. Oh no, Vadi. The people who want those letters. The ones who know about the trust fund. You think you could just walk away? You think they'll let you? Her hand trembles on the door. So what do I do? She whispers. He meets her eyes, and for the first time, she sees something other than ice. She sees fear. You let me protect you, he says. Even if you hate me for it. Do you think she should trust him or run as far as she can? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to see if redemption is even possible for a man like him. The phone rings at 3 in the morning. Amira jolts awake, heart hammering, fumbling for her cell in the dark. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer, almost lets it ring out, but something makes her swipe. Hello. Silence. Then breathing. Heavy. Deliberate. Amidajo. The voice is smooth, American accent, dripping with false charm. You don't know me yet, but you will. Her blood runs cold. Who is this? Someone who knows about your little inheritance. The money Mrs. Davids left you. The letters she wrote. The promises she made. I don't know what you are. Don't insult me. The voice hardens. You've got 48 hours to transfer the trust fund. All of it. Or those letters go public. Every word. Every secret. Every connection to the Seoul Tokyo syndicate. The line goes dead. Amira sits frozen in the dark, phone trembling in her hand. She doesn't sleep the rest of the night. By morning, she's standing outside Dae-hyun's building again, this time without an escort. The guards recognize her now, let her through without a word. She finds him in his office, surrounded by papers, screens glowing with financial data. He looks like he hasn't slept either. They called me, she says, no greeting, no preamble. He looks up sharply. Who? I don't know. They want the money. Said I have 48 hours or if the letters go public. Dae-hyun stands immediately, crossing to her. What exactly did they say? She repeats it word for word, her voice steady even though her hands are shaking. He pulls out his phone, already dialing. Jean, I need a trace on Amira's cell. Incoming call, 3 a.m. Do it now. He hangs up, then turns back to her. You're staying here. What? You're staying here, under protection, until we figure out who's behind this. I can't just. You can, and you will. His tone leaves no room for argument. They know where you live. They know your schedule. They know everything. You go home, you're dead. The words hit like a slap. Why do you even care? She asks, her voice breaking. You didn't know me 3 days ago. I'm just some girl your mother took pity on. You're not just some girl. His jaw tightens. You're the daughter of a woman I killed. The room goes silent. Amira stares at him, and for the first time, she sees it. The weight he carries, the guilt that's been eating him alive for 15 years. I didn't pull the trigger on your mother, he continues, his voice low, but I gave the order. I planned the hit. I made sure no one got out alive. He looks away. I was 21. Hungry. Stupid. Thought if I proved myself, I'd earn respect. Power. And did you? Her voice is cold. Yeah. He meets her eyes again. I earned it, and I've been paying for it every day since. Amira crosses her arms, blinking back tears. Your mother knew. That's why she left you. She didn't just leave me. His voice cracks. She left everything. Her whole life. Her friends. Her home. She disappeared because she couldn't look at me anymore. And then she found me. She found you because you're the only thing left of your mother. The only thing she could save. He steps closer. My mother spent the last 15 years of her life trying to undo what I did. She couldn't bring your mother back, so she made sure you survived. Amira's tears fall freely now. I don't want your guilt money. It's not guilt money. It's blood money, and it's already yours. He pulls out a folder, sliding it across the desk. The trust fund. $3 million. Hidden in accounts my mother set up before she died. She made sure no one could touch it. Not me. Not the syndicate. No one. Amira stares at the papers like they might explode. Take it, Dae-hyun says. Disappear. Start over. That's what she wanted. And what do you want? He hesitates. I want you to live. Before she can respond, Jean bursts through the door, tablet in hand, face grim. We trace the call. It came from Manhattan, Ronan Vale's office. Dae-hyun's expression goes ice cold. Vale made the call himself? No, but it came from his network, which means he either knows about the threat or he's the one making it. Dae-hyun turns to Amira. Pack a bag. You're not going anywhere alone. Where are we going? To end this. Jean clears his throat. Boss, there's one more thing. Dae-hyun looks at him. The trust fund. It's not just clean money from your mother's savings. Jean swipes the screen, pulling up bank records. It's tied to the Davids Foundation, which means it's tied to the laundering network, which means whoever controls that foundation controls the money. Amira's stomach drops. What does that mean? Dae-hyun's jaw tightens. It means the people who want that money aren't just criminals. They're the same people who used my mother's charity to wash blood money for 15 years. And they think I'm the key to getting it back. Exactly. Jean looks between them. If we don't move fast, they'll come for her. And they won't call first. Dae-hyun turns to Amira, his eyes hard. You wanted to know why I care? Because my mother died trying to protect you. And I'll be damned if I let her death mean nothing. Amira's voice comes out small. What if I can't be saved? Then we'll die trying. Do you think Dae-hyun can really protect her? Or is he leading her straight into a trap? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. This story gets darker before it gets lighter. And we need you here for every twist. The city looks different at night when you know someone's hunting you. Amira sits in the back of Dae-hyun's armored car, watching Seoul blur past the tinted windows. Jean drives. 2 more guards follow in a second vehicle. She's never felt more trapped or more protected. Dae-hyun sits beside her, silent, scrolling through his phone. His face is unreadable, but she can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his jaw keeps tightening. Where are we going? She asks. Somewhere they won't think to look. That's not an answer. He looks at her. You want honesty? We're going to a safe house outside the city. Off the grid. No phones. No internet. No way for anyone to track you. For how long? As long as it takes. And what are you going to do? His eyes darken. What I should have done 15 years ago. Before she can ask what that means, Jean speaks up from the driver's seat. Boss, we got a tail. Dae-hyun's hand moves to the gun holstered at his side. How many? 1 car. Black sedan. Staying 3 cars back. Lose them. Jean doesn't hesitate. The car lurches forward, weaving through traffic, cutting across lanes. Horns blare. Tires screech. Amira grabs the door handle, her heart in her throat. The black sedan speeds up, closing the gap. They're not backing off, Jean says, voice tight. Dae-hyun pulls out his phone, typing fast. Take the next exit. Head toward the industrial district. That's a dead end. I know. Amira's pulse pounds. What are you doing? Turning the tables. The car veers right, tires screaming as they take the exit too fast. The black sedan follows. They plunge into a maze of empty warehouses and abandoned lots, streetlights flickering like dying stars. Jean pulls into a narrow alley and kills the engine. Silence. Amira can hear her own breathing, loud and ragged. Stay in the car. Dae-hyun orders, already opening his door. Wait. But he's gone, disappearing into the shadows. Jean stays in the driver's seat, hand on his weapon, eyes on the rearview mirror. Seconds stretch into minutes. Then headlights flood the alley. The black sedan pulls in slowly, deliberately, blocking the only exit. 2 men step out. No guns visible, but Amira can tell they're armed by the way they move, controlled, confident, trained. The taller one approaches the car, tapping on the window. Jean doesn't roll it down. The man smiles. Come on now. We just want to talk. Jin's finger hovers over the button to start the engine. But before he can press it, Dae-hyun appears behind the 2 men, silent as a ghost. He doesn't say a word, just moves. The first man goes down hard, knocked unconscious before he even knows what hit him. The second man spins, reaching for his gun, but Dae-hyun's faster, grabs his wrist, twists, and the weapon clatters to the ground. The man tries to fight back, but Dae-hyun's relentless. 3 precise strikes, and the man crumples. Amira watches through the window, frozen, her breath fogging the glass. Dae-hyun drags the unconscious men to the side of the alley, then pulls out his phone, snapping photos of their faces. He sends the photos to someone, then walks back to the car, calm as if he just stepped out for coffee. He slides in the back seat beside Amira, breathing steady, not a scratch on him. Drive, he tells Jean. Jean starts the engine, pulling out of the alley without a word. Amira stares at Dae-hyun, her voice shaking. Who were they? Hired muscle, low level, sent to scare you. And you just... I handled it. His tone is flat, emotionless. They'll wake up with headaches and no memory of where they were. That's more mercy than they deserve. She swallows hard. You've done this before. More times than I can count. The car falls silent again, the city lights fading behind them. After a long moment, Amira speaks, her voice barely above a whisper. Your mother must have been terrified of you. Dae-hyun's jaw tightens. She wasn't terrified. She was disappointed. What's the difference? Terror fades. Disappointment stays forever. Amira looks out the window, watching the darkness swallow the road ahead. She left you because she loved you, Amira says quietly. Not because she hated you. He doesn't respond, but his hand, resting on the seat between them, trembles. Just for a second. Then it's still again. The safe house is exactly what it sounds like, a small cabin in the mountains, surrounded by trees, no neighbors for miles. Jean and the guards sweep the perimeter while Dae-hyun walks Amira inside. It's sparse, clean, functional. A bed, a small kitchen, a fireplace. You'll be safe here, Dae-hyun says, checking the windows, the locks, the exits. What about you? I'm going back to Seoul. I need to find out who sent those men. And I need to make sure Ronan Vale understands what happens when he threatens my family. Amira turns sharply. I'm not your family. He stops, his back to her. My mother thought you were. That's enough for me. Before she can argue, he walks to the door. Dae-hyun. He pauses, hand on the doorknob. Don't kill him. Her voice shakes. Whatever you're planning, don't become the monster she was afraid of. He looks over his shoulder, and for the first time, she sees something raw in his eyes. I've been that monster for 15 years, he says quietly. The only question is whether I can stop. Then he's gone. Amira stands alone in the cabin, the fire crackling in the hearth, the weight of everything pressing down on her chest. Outside, she hears the cars pulling away, and she realizes she's never felt more alone, or more afraid. What do you think Dae-hyun's going to do when he finds Ronan Vale? Comment below, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. This story's about to explode, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Share your thoughts, and inspire others who need to hear this. The warehouse smells like rust and fear. Amira wakes to the sound of footsteps. Not Dae-hyun's, not Jin's. Different, heavier, wrong. She sits up fast, heart slamming against her ribs. The cabin door is open. Cold air pours in, carrying voices with it. She's awake. 3 men step inside, dressed in black, faces covered. One of them holds a phone, the screen glowing in the dark. Miss Jo. The voice comes from the phone's speaker, smooth, familiar. Honon Vadi. I apologize for the inconvenience, but you've made this very difficult. Amira scrambles backward, but there's nowhere to go. What do you want? Her voice shakes. The same thing I've always wanted. The money, the letters, the truth about what Mrs. Davids really did with that foundation. I don't have any of that, but you know where it is. And more importantly, Han Dae-hyun will do anything to keep you alive. Vale's voice drips with satisfaction, which makes you very, very valuable. One of the men steps forward, pulling out a syringe. Amira tries to fight, but they're too strong, too fast. The needle pierces her arm, and the world goes black. When she wakes again, she's not in the cabin. She's tied to a chair in a warehouse, the kind of place where people disappear and no one asks questions. Her head throbs. Her wrists burn from the rope. Across from her, a man sits on a metal crate, legs crossed, sipping whiskey like they're at a social event. Honom Vali, older than she expected. 50s maybe. Silver hair, expensive suit. The kind of man who looks harmless until you realize he's the most dangerous person in the room. You're awake. He smiles. Good. I was starting to worry we gave you too much. Where am I? Her voice is hoarse. Somewhere your boyfriend won't find you. At least not in time. He's not my boyfriend. No. Vale tilts his head. Then why did he kill 6 of my men trying to track me down? Amira's stomach drops. What? Oh, you didn't know? Vali Shuklis. Han Dae-hyun has been tearing through Seoul for the last 12 hours, hunting anyone connected to me. Very dramatic. Very bloody. Very ineffective. You're lying. Am I? He pulls out his phone, swiping through photos. Bodies. Blood. Chaos. Amira looks away, bile rising in her throat. Your mother was a translator, wasn't she? Vale says, pocketing his phone. Worked for some very important people. Brokered deals between very dangerous men. Don't talk about my mother. She was good at her job. Too good, actually. She heard things she shouldn't have. Saw documents that didn't exist. And when she tried to go to the authorities, well, he shrugs. The Seoul Tokyo Syndicate doesn't tolerate whistleblowers. Amira's chest tightens. You're saying she was killed on purpose? I'm saying she was collateral damage in a much bigger game. And Mrs. Davids knew it. That's why she took you in. That's why she left you the money. Guilt. He leans forward. But guilt doesn't pay the bills, Miss Cho. And that foundation? It was never about charity. It was about moving money. Lots of it. She didn't know. She knew. Vale's voice hardens. She knew exactly what was happening. And when she tried to shut it down, she made enemies. Powerful ones. The kind who don't forget. Then why come after me? Because you're the only loose end left. You inherit the trust fund. You inherit the liability. And I can't have that. Footsteps echo through the warehouse. Vale stands, straightening his suit. Your boyfriend should be here soon. I made sure he'd find you. Why? Because this isn't just about money anymore. His smile is cold. This is about sending a message. To him. To everyone who thinks they can walk away from the life. He turns to leave, then pauses. Oh, and Miss Cho, when he gets here, you might want to close your eyes. It's going to get messy. The warehouse door slams shut. Amira sits in the dark, alone, the sound of her own breathing deafening. Then, somewhere in the distance, she hears it. Gunfire. Screaming. The storm is coming. And it's coming for her. What do you think happens when Dae-hyun finds her? Will she survive, or will this be the end? Comment your predictions below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that inspires. Share your thoughts. You never know who needs to hear this. The doors explode inward. Not metaphorically. Literally. Fire. Smoke. The sound of metal tearing apart. Amira flinches, eyes squeezed shut, heart hammering so hard she thinks it might break through her ribs. When she opens them again, he's standing there. Han Dae-hyun. Cream suit torn at the shoulder. Blood on his knuckles. Face carved from stone. Behind him, chaos. Bodies on the ground, guards scrambling. The whole warehouse descending into hell. He walks toward her through the smoke like he's done this 1,000 times. Maybe he has. You okay? His voice is low, steady, like they're meeting for coffee instead of in the middle of a war zone. She nods, even though she's not. He pulls a knife from his belt, cutting through the ropes in one swift motion. Her wrists are raw, bleeding. She tries to stand, but her legs give out. He catches her, doesn't say a word, just wraps one arm around her waist, holding her steady. Can you walk? I think so. Good, because we're not done yet. He pulls her toward the side exit, but before they reach it, Ronan Vale steps into view, flanked by 2 armed men. He's not smiling anymore. I have to admit, Vale says, clapping slowly, mockingly, I didn't think you'd actually make it this far. Color me impressed. Dae-hyun doesn't respond, just positions himself between Vale and Amira, his hand moving to the gun at his side. You really think you can walk out of here? Vadi Laugis, you're outnumbered, outgunned, and even if you kill me, there are 10 more just like me waiting to take my place. Maybe. Dae-hyun's voice is ice, but you won't be around to see it. Vale's smile falters. You made a mistake, Dae-hyun continues. You went after her. You used my mother's name. You thought I'd negotiate, and you won't. No, Dae-hyun pulls the gun, aiming it directly at Vale's chest. I don't negotiate with dead men. The warehouse goes silent. Vale's guards tense, fingers on triggers, but no one moves. You pull that trigger, Vale says slowly, and you prove everything your mother feared about you. You prove you're still the monster. Dae-hyun doesn't flinch. I know what I am. Then do it. Vale spreads his arms wide. Pull the trigger. Become the thing she ran from. Dae-hyun's hand trembles, just for a second. Then he lowers the gun and hands it to Amira. She stares at it, her hands shaking, the weight of it foreign and terrible. What are you doing? She whispers. Giving you a choice. His voice is quiet, steady. He's the reason your mother's dead. He's the reason mine is too. If anyone deserves justice, it's you. Vale's eyes widen. You can't be serious. Amira looks at the gun, at Vale, at the man who destroyed everything. Her finger moves to the trigger. Vale takes a step back, hands raised. Wait, think about this. But she's not thinking. She's feeling. Every ounce of pain, every sleepless night, every moment she spent wondering why her mother had to die. Her hand steadies. Vale's voice cracks. Please. And then she lowers the gun. No. The word hangs in the air like a verdict. Dae-hyun watches her, something unreadable in his eyes. Why? He asks quietly. Because I don't want to become like you. Her voice shakes, but it's strong. Because my mother wouldn't want this. Because your mother spent her whole life trying to save people, and I'm not going to throw that away for revenge. She drops the gun. It clatters to the floor, loud in the silence. Vale exhales, shoulders sagging with relief. But Dae-hyun doesn't move. He just looks at Amira, and for the first time, she sees something break in him. Not anger, not guilt, understanding. He turns to Vale, his voice low and dangerous. You're right. I am a monster, but she's not. He steps closer, and Vale stumbles backward. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to disappear. You're going to shut down every operation connected to the Davids Foundation. You're going to return every dollar you stole. And if I ever hear your name again, I won't give her the choice. I'll end you myself. Vali nods Frenchkali. Yes, I'll do it. Whatever you want. Good. Dae-hyun turns, wrapping an arm around Amira's shoulders. Let's go. They walk toward the exit, stepping over debris, through smoke, into the night. Behind them, Vale collapses to his knees, gasping for air. He's alive, but he'll never be free. Outside, the rain has started again. Soft this time. Gentle. Amira tilts her face up, letting it wash over her. You could have killed him, Dae-hyun says quietly. I know. So why didn't you? She looks at him, and her eyes are clear. Because someone has to break the cycle. Might as well be me. He stares at her for a long moment, then nods slowly. My mother would have liked you. She did like me. Amira smiles faintly. That's why we're here. They stand in the rain together, two people bound by grief, by guilt, by the ghosts of the women who tried to save them. And for the first time in 15 years, Han Dae-hyun feels something he thought he'd lost forever. Hope. Do you believe people can really change, or are some sins too heavy to wash away? Comment below, and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. This story isn't over yet, and the ending will leave you speechless. Share your thoughts and inspire others. You never know who needs to hear this message today. The cemetery looks different in the daylight. Softer, quieter, like the world decided to give them a break. Amira kneels in front of the gravestone. Mars, David's, and places fresh lilies against the granite. White, her favorite. The rain from last night left everything damp, but the sun's breaking through now, warming the stone, the grass, the air. She traces her fingers over the engraved letters, her throat tight. I met your son, she whispers. I know why you left. I know what you were trying to do. The wind rustles through the trees. I don't think you failed, she continues. I think you did exactly what you were supposed to. You saved me. And maybe, her voice cracks. Maybe you saved him too. Footsteps crunch behind her. She doesn't turn around. She already knows who it is. Dae-hyun stops a few feet away, hands in the pockets of a plain coat. No suit today. No tattoos visible. Just a man visiting his mother's grave. You came back, he says quietly. I promised her I would. He nods, stepping closer until he's standing beside her, looking down at the stone. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. Then Amira stands, brushing dirt off her knees. What are you going to do now? She asks. He looks at the sky, clouds drifting past like they've got nowhere important to be. I'm shutting it down, he says. The syndicate, the operations, all of it. She blinks. You're serious. My mother spent 15 years running from what I built. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life proving her right. He looks at her. I don't know if I can undo the damage, but I can stop making it worse. That's not going to be easy. No, he almost smiles. But nothing worth doing ever is. Amira crosses her arms, studying him. And what about me? What about you? The money. The trust fund. What am I supposed to do with it? Whatever you want. He shrugs. It's yours. My mother made sure of that. Use it to disappear. Start over. Build the life she always wanted for you. And you're just going to let me walk away? I'm not letting you do anything. His voice softens. You were never mine to control. She looks back at the gravestone, her chest tight. She told me once, Amira says quietly, that forgiveness is the hardest kind of power. That anyone can hurt someone, but it takes real strength to let go. Daehyun's jaw tightens. She was right. So was she right about you? Amira turns to face him fully. Can you really walk away from all of this? He meets her eyes, and for the first time, she sees something other than guilt. She sees resolve. I don't know, he admits, but I'm going to try. A car pulls up at the edge of the cemetery, Jean waiting patiently. Daehyun glances at it, then back at Amira. If you ever need anything, he says, you know how to find me. I won't. He nods. Good. But as he turns to leave, she calls after him. Daehyun. He stops, looking over his shoulder. Your mother didn't leave because she hated you, Amira says. She left because she loved you too much to watch you destroy yourself. And I think, she swallows hard, I think she'd be proud of you. For trying. His expression doesn't change, but his eyes glisten. Just for a second. Then he nods once, slow and deliberate, and walks toward the car. Amira watches him go, the man who was supposed to be a monster, the man who chose to be something else. She kneels in front of the grave one last time, pressing her palm against the stone. Thank you, she whispers, for everything. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of rain and flowers. And for the first time in 15 years, Amira Cho feels free. She stands, brushing off her hands, and walks toward the cemetery gates. Behind her, the gravestone catches the light, the name shining like a promise. Mrs. David's beloved mother, who believed everyone deserved a second chance. The rain starts again as Amira reaches the street. Soft, gentle, washing everything clean. She tilts her face up, lets it soak her skin, and smiles. Because somewhere between grief and forgiveness, between guilt and grace, she found something she didn't expect. Hope. And maybe that's all anyone really needs. A reason to keep going. A chance to rewrite the ending. And the courage to believe that even the darkest stories can find light. Amira walks into the rain, into the city, into whatever comes next. And this time, she's not afraid. Because she knows the truth now. Some sins can't be undone, but they can be forgiven. And that's where healing begins. 6 months later, the coffee shop smells like cinnamon and second chances. Amira wipes down the counter, humming something her mother used to sing, a melody she thought she'd forgotten. The place is small, cozy, tucked into a quiet neighborhood in Busan, far from Seoul, far from everything that happened. She bought it with part of the trust fund. The rest she donated to foster programs across Korea, the kind Mrs. Davids would have loved. The bell above the door chimes. She looks up, expecting a regular, and freezes. Daehyun stands in the doorway, looking different. His hair's longer. No suit, just jeans and a plain black sweater. The tattoos are still there, visible at his collar, but somehow they look less like armor now. He looks tired, but lighter. He says. She sets down the cloth, heart suddenly racing. What are you doing here? I was in neighborhood. Busan's 3 hours from Seoul. Long neighborhood. He almost smiles. She crosses her arms, leaning against the counter. How did you find me? I didn't. Jean did. I told him not to tell me where you went, but he shrugs. He's better at his job than I thought. Silence stretches between them, comfortable and uncomfortable all at once. You want coffee? She finally asks. Please. She turns to the machine, grateful for something to do with her hands. How have you been? Busy. Dismantling an empire takes longer than building one. You bet. She pours the coffee, sliding it across the counter. Any regrets? He picks up the cup, wrapping both hands around it. Every day. But that's the point, I think. Feeling it, not running from it. Sounds like growth. Sounds like hell. But he's smiling now, just a little. What about you? She looks around the shop. The mismatched chairs, the local art on the walls, the plants she somehow managed to keep alive. I'm happy. Actually happy. Not just surviving anymore. She'd be proud of you. Both of them would. Amira meets his eyes. Your mother and mine. He nods, taking a sip of coffee. This is good. Don't sound so surprised. I'm not. You're good at everything you do. The compliment catches her off guard. She busies herself wiping down the espresso machine. So why are you really here? She asks quietly. He sets down the cup, and when he speaks, his voice is different. Vulnerable. Because I wanted to make sure you were okay. That you weren't looking over your shoulder every day. That you were actually living. And I can see that you are. He smiles, genuine this time. So I'll go. He turns toward the door, and something in her chest twists. Wait. He stops. Do you? She hesitates. Do you ever go back? To the cemetery? Every week. His voice is soft. I bring her favorite flowers. Tell her about the businesses I'm shutting down, the people I'm helping relocate, the amends I'm trying to make. He looks back at her. I tell her about you. About the coffee shop. About how you're doing exactly what she hoped you would. Tears prick Amira's eyes. She want you to forgive yourself, you know. I know. His jaw tightens. I'm working on it. The bell chimes again. A young couple entering, laughing about something. Amira smiles at them. Be right with you. When she turns back, Dae-hyun is already at the door. Dae-hyun. He pauses, hand on the frame. You're welcome here, she says. Anytime. If you need coffee. Or just, she swallows. If you need a reminder that people can change. He looks at her for a long moment, something unreadable in his eyes. Thank you, he says quietly. Then he's gone. Amira stands behind the counter, watching through the window as he walks down the street, disappearing into the crowd. She doesn't know if she'll see him again, but she hopes she will, because redemption isn't a destination. It's a journey, and everyone deserves company along the way. Do you think Dae-hyun will come back, or was this goodbye? Comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to see how this story ends. Sometimes healing means letting go. Sometimes it means holding on. Which do you think this is? 1 year later, the rain comes back. Not the punishing kind. Not the kind that feels like the sky is angry. Just rain. Soft and steady, washing the world clean. Amira stands at the cemetery gates, umbrella in hand, lilies tucked under her arm. She's not alone this time. Dae-hyun walks beside her, carrying his own flowers. White roses, his mother's second favorite. They haven't seen each other in 6 months. But when he texted last night, tomorrow, same time, she didn't hesitate. I'll be there. They walk in silence through the rows of graves, their footsteps synchronized without trying. When they reach Mrs. David's stone, they both stop. The granite's weathered now, softened by time and rain and visits. But the name still shines. Amira kneels first, placing the lilies carefully. Hi, Mrs. Davids. I brought someone with me this time. Dae-hyun crouches beside her, setting down the roses. His hand trembles slightly, but he doesn't hide it anymore. Hi, Mom, he says quietly. It's been a year since I started trying. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I'm doing it. Amira glances at him, sees the rawness in his face, the weight he's still carrying. You'd be surprised how many people I've helped relocate, he continues, his voice thick. Ex-syndicate members. People who wanted out but didn't know how. I'm using the network I built for something good now. Or trying to, anyway. He pauses, swallowing hard. I sold the penthouse. donated most of the money to foster programs, the kind you used to run. He touches the stone gently. I kept your letters, though. The ones you wrote before you left. I read them sometimes when I forget why I'm doing this. Amira's throat tightens. I am sorry, Daehuin whispers. For all of it. For making you run. For being the reason you couldn't come home. For, his voice breaks. For not being the son you deserved. She knew you loved her, Amira says softly. She told me once. She said you were lost, but you weren't gone. There's a difference. He looks at her, eyes red. How do you know? Because she never stopped hoping for you. That's why she wrote those letters. That's why she kept them, even after she left. She was waiting for the day you'd be ready to read them. Daehyun's jaw trembles. I'm not sure I'll ever be ready. Maybe that's okay. Maybe it's not about being ready. It's about trying anyway. They sit in silence for a while, the rain falling gently around them. I opened a second shop, Amira says eventually. In Seoul this time. Hired 5 people, all former foster kids. Gave them a chance, the way she gave me one. She'd love that. I know. Amira smiles through her tears. I named it David's. Just David's. No Mrs., because she'd hate the formality. Daehyun laughs. A real laugh, rough and broken, but genuine. She really would. They stand together, brushing off their knees. What now? Amira asks. Now. Daehyun looks at the sky, rain streaking his face. Now I keep going. One day at a time. One choice at a time. Sound exhausting. It is. He looks at her. But it's better than the alternative. They start walking back toward the gates, side by side. You know, Amira says, if you're ever in Seoul, David's is on Itaewon Street. You should stop by. Try the pastries. I finally figured out how to make them right. I'd like that. And Daehyun. Yeah. Thank you. For trying. For changing. For proving that people aren't just one thing forever. He stops walking, turning to face her fully. I couldn't have done it without you, he says. You show me it was possible. That someone who lost everything to people like me could still choose forgiveness. Still choose hope. It wasn't easy. The best things never are. They reach the cemetery gates. And for a moment, neither of them moves. Then Amira extends her hand. Daehyun looks at it, then at her face, and slowly takes it. Not as enemies. Not as strangers. Not even as friends. Not yet. But as 2 people trying to honor the woman who believed they both deserved a second chance. Same time next year? He asks. Same time next year, she agrees. They let go, and Amira walks toward the bus stop while Daehyun heads for his car. Behind them, rain washes over Mrs. David's grave, over the flowers they left, over the words carved in stone. Beloved mother, who believed everyone deserved a second chance. And maybe she was right. Maybe redemption isn't about erasing the past. It's about choosing differently in the present. Maybe forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about deciding that pain doesn't have to define you. Maybe healing isn't linear. It's messy and slow, and sometimes it takes a lifetime. But it's possible, even for people born into darkness. Even for people who chose it. Even for the lost ones who thought they'd never find their way home. Amira boards the bus, finding a seat by the window. As Seoul comes into view, lights glittering through the rain, she pulls out her phone and opens a new note. Dear Mrs. Davids, I think we're going to be okay. Both of us. Finally. She doesn't send it anywhere. Doesn't need to. Some messages aren't meant to be received. They're meant to be written. To remind yourself that you're healing. That you're growing. That you're becoming the person someone once believed you could be. The bus drives on through the rain, carrying her toward the future. And for the first time in her life, Amira is not afraid of where she's going. Because she finally knows who she is. Not the girl who survived the fire. Not the daughter of the woman who was murdered. Not the stranger at the grave. She's Amira Cho, and she's exactly where she's supposed to be.